Kyojuro Rengoku, the flame Hashira who went up against the Upper Moon 3, the big brother that we all wish we had, and the highlight of the Demon Slayer Mugen Train. Now, what makes this character so likable and beloved by the Kimetsu no Yaba fans, even though we barely got to spend time with him? In this video I will be discussing that and more regarding Rengoku's character portrayed in the anime, so let's dive into it. We are first introduced to Rengoku during the Hashira meeting arc, and honestly, Rengoku's character design looks insane. As a matter of fact, all the Hashira have dope character designs. I mean, look at this flamboyant guy right here.
Who cares?
Now, regarding what was going to be decided in this meeting for Tanjiro's violation, Rengoku is actually the first to suggest that Nezuko's existence as a demon and Tanjiro's involvement with her is a clear violation of the code, and for that they should be both beheaded. Now that doesn't give him a good look in our eyes, knowing the journey and the struggles that Tanjiro and Nezuko have been through. But we will soon find out what really makes Rengoku have a change of heart on this matter in the upcoming event occurring in the Mugen Train. When our crew encounters Kyojuro in the train, they instantly get a weird vibe from him, and we as a viewer also get very curious, like what is this character all about? During the first conversation he has with Tanjiro, Rengoku explains how despite his thoughts on Nezuko being a demon, he will still respect the orders from the master of the Demon Slayer Corp and he will not bother them on that situation. And since Tanjiro has a great sense of smell, he perceives a very caring vibe from Rengoku despite his strangeness, and he also gets a strong sense of justice from the flame Hashira. Well, you can possibly help but notice the justice aura coming from a determined facial expression like that. But knowing that Rengoku embodies a high sense of justice lets us know that his disapproval of Nezuko has no sinister or malice intention behind it, but it just might be that he's very obedient to the code of the Demon Slayer Corp, and also his sense of justice might be so strong that he can't help but being utterly blunt in expressing his thoughts. In the Kimetsu no Yaba story so far, Hashiras are depicted as the strongest demon slayers in the corp, and we have already seen Gyo and Shinobu in action, showing the difference that they have to the lower ranked demon slayers. Now, knowing that, we can't help but wonder how strong this weird haired flame Hashira might actually be, and he doesn't disappoint, decapitating the first two demons they encounter with only one strike. The OST combined with the amazing animation also makes this scene look even more epic. And witnessing Rengoku's strength, Tanjiro, Zenitsu and Inosuke can't help but want to be his apprentices. And already it looks like Rengoku would be a perfect fit to our crew. When the lower moon Elmu makes sure to put our crew into deep sleep in order to kill their spiritual core, we go into Kyojuro's subconsciousness and we get to learn more about this character. We see Rengoku's past when he's reporting to his father that he has become a Hashira. But to our surprise, his father is not impressed at all. For some reason, Rengoku's father, who actually was a former Hashira himself, didn't think that holding this title meant anything of significance, saying that neither of them will ever get to achieve anything of value despite holding the title of Hashira. Now those are some harsh words that would discourage anyone, and the viewer might even relate and sympathize with Kyojuro, but there's no need for that, because not only doesn't this guy take that seriously, thus showing his resilient nature, but he also encourages his timid little brother that despite their father's discouraging attitude towards them, his big brother will always support and believe in him. And this scene displays Rengoku's protective and supportive nature and being his little brother's role model. For more of Kyojuro's backstory and his relationship with his family, I would suggest reading Rengoku's spin-off mangas, because they don't spoil anything for the upcoming second season and you will get a clear view on Rengoku's goals and motivation, which make his actions on this movie have much more weight and meaning. Later, as the girl that is led by the lower moon gets closer to Rengoku's spiritual core to destroy it, she gets surrounded by flames that to me represent Rengoku's inner fighting spirit. And seeing that kind of intensity in his subconsciousness, we might wonder what could have Rengoku gone through to achieve that kind of strength. And when the little girl is about to destroy his core, Rengoku reacts immediately, even though he's still in a sleeping state. This thing is incredible survival instinct. And I don't know why, but at this part where he criticizes himself for falling asleep but also keeping that face is so funny to me, like nothing can break this guy's motivation. If Rengoku didn't look OP enough already, he displays his maturity and fighting experience by reading the situation at hand and making quick decisions, as he plans to protect 5 cars in the train, leaving 3 cars to Nezuko and Zenitsu, while Tanjiro and Inosuke take care of the lower moon Enmu.
Oh, that's so cool!
This looks like the right plan to execute in this situation, but I couldn't shake the idea that Rengoku could have taken Enmu quickly by himself, and maybe this was our squad's first training under Rengoku's leadership, but that could be just me. Then Tanjiro and Inosuke managed to kill Enmu, but Tanjiro is left injured with a bad wound that he received trying to save Inosuke. And while Tanjiro is trying to recover his wound through total concentration, Rengoku, after saving every passenger on the train from the crash, shows up eager to help Tanjiro out, giving him instructions to close the wound properly, and supports Tanjiro in his struggle to recover, showing more of his supportive big brother vibe. And when we thought how well Rengoku's character was incorporated with Tanjiro and the others, suddenly out of nowhere one of the upper moons shows up. Upper Moon 3 Akaza. For the first time, now we get to see a fight between an upper moon and a Hashira. But before they start to get into it, Kyojuro and Akaza display a clash of their philosophies, where Akaza seems to despite how fragile and weak human bodies are, while Rengoku's whole reason for fighting is to protect the ones that can protect themselves. Despite their differences, Akaza senses Rengoku's enormous fighting spirit and even invites him to become a demon, saying that even though he's achieved great strength as a human, Kyojuro is still very limited, and thus can't enter the realm of the highest, because eventually he will get old and die. But in the demon form, he would have the opportunity to train for hundreds of years. Not only does Rengoku not care about that offer, but he also gives Akaza a lecture of what it means to be a human, and saying that both growing old
And passing away, these are things that make being human beautiful. You see, true strength does not just refer to the physical body.
And with the refusal of Akaza's offer, starts one of the best anime scenes I've ever seen. The animation here is top tier, but what I like the most is the mixing of Rengoku's and Akaza's soundtrack themes, making the whole fighting scene even more special. Throughout the movie, Rengoku was looking like an overpowered character, but while the fight with Akaza was progressing, Kyojuro now takes more of an underdog role. And we as viewers who got so attached to this character already can't help but support him, even as we slowly realize that Akaza's overwhelming power might be too much to handle even by a Hashira. So despite Rengoku's strength, he's still a human who can recover from major damages done to his body, where Akaza on the other hand regenerates in just mere seconds. So we now slowly begin to worry about Kyojuro's state, thinking for how much more can he keep up with the Upper Moon 3. But when you're weaker than your opponent, that is the moment where you can see one's gravity of their mental strength. Someone's will is harder to break, the stronger their belief on the value that their action will have, and if those actions involve protecting someone other than yourself, one's will be greater, as they now are fighting for something larger than them. And that is what Rengoku's character is all about, with a smashed eye, shattered ribs and damaged internal organs, declaring with a smile on his face that he will fulfill his duty and not let anyone die, and then advancing with his final 9th form called the Rengoku. But even that wasn't enough to defeat Akaza. The moment when he is pierced through his stomach, Kyojuro's mind wanders into his past, on the memories he has with his mother. And from the conversation he has with her, we get to see the origin of Rengoku's sense of value that he holds so dear to his heart. And even now that he knows that he's going to die, he holds one last stand against Akaza, trying not to let him escape while the sun is now rising. And with fear in his face, Akaza had to rip off his arms in order to escape and run into the forest away from the sun. Even though Kyojuro lost to Akaza, he did succeed to fulfill his duty to the end. He even managed to get the Upper Moon 3 be scared to death in his last moments, and even almost killing him. Rengoku's stoic demeanor in his last moments was truly heartbreaking. Knowing that those were his last moments, he used this time to make sure that Tanjiro and the others don't get discouraged about what happened, and he also gave his last request for Tanjiro to tell his little brother to follow his heart and to walk down the path that he feels is right. and to his father to take care of himself. He even now accepts Nezuko as a member of the Demon Slayer Corps after seeing her risking her life to save the humans in the train. Rengoku's time as Tanjiro Inosuke and Zenitsu's teacher was too short, but in these last moments he takes the time to say to Tanjiro that he believes in them. And if you didn't start tearing already, before Rengoku closes his eyes, he sees his mother, telling him how proud she was of him, giving Rengoku the opportunity to go with a smile on his face. And as much as I didn't want the Flame Hashira to die so soon since he grew on me so much in such a short time, I think this was a good decision made by the mangaka, giving the story more weight by conveying the viewer what to expect in the continuation of the show in the upcoming season 2 of the Demon Slayer anime. To everyone who stayed until the end of this video, I want to thank you so much for your attention. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more anime and manga related content, as I will be covering more captivating stories in the future. But until then, goodbye.